My name is Mehreen, and we are having this webinar today on how to deal with exam stress and anxiety. With all the busy schedule and rush life, we often fall into anxiety, stress, overthinking because of many different reasons. And examinations are one of those. And due to which it often takes a toll on our mental health, physical health, because we hardly get to sleep, we hardly get to do relaxed, fun things, and we just can't stop thinking about what's gonna happen tomorrow while giving exam. So for this, we have with us today Dr. Subho Chattopadhyay, sir, Associate Professor and Head of the Department MBA at Invertis University. He's a UGC NET qualified management teacher with interest in the areas of marketing and brand development. He's a recipient of the Devang Mehta National Education Award and 100 Most Dedicated Professors Award by the World Education Congress in 2019 for his contribution to academics and for his endeavor in development of students. He also received the Best Citizens of India Award from International Publishing House, New Delhi in the year 2017. During his shining career, he has presented several research papers at national and international conferences, and besides three books authored by him, his published work includes research papers in national and international journals, articles in magazines, and chapters in books. He also serves as the editorial board of some of the national and international journals in the field of management. So let's hear out from him, and in the end, you also can ask questions, and we'll take them one by one. So, please guide us through.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for your kind words. And good morning, everybody. Hello, dear friends. It's wonderful to interact with you this beautiful morning. Uh, as ma'am said, that there are often times in our life when we feel anxious about different things. We go through different levels of stress. And perhaps as a student, this is one of those moments where many of the students would be experiencing this kind of stress. For those who are appearing in their 10th class examination, these people, they would have gone through a number of examinations during their school time. But as far as board is concerned, this is the first time they would be appearing in board. For the 12th class students too, it's a special time in their life. And special time brings in special expectations, self expectation. So many of the people, many of the students would be going through a phase of perhaps self doubt, phase of anxiousness, a phase of fear, a phase of stress. But at the onset, let me tell you that board examination is nothing to be afraid of, because instead of getting stressed during exams, you should look at exams as a thing to rejoice. It's not a thing to be afraid of, it's a thing to rejoice, it's a thing to be happy about. Now, the question is why? Why should one be happy about it? And the answer is very, very simple. The answer is because this is a stepping stone towards the next phase in your life. It's not a hurdle, it's not a blockage. It's on the contrary, the board exams, on the contrary, they are springboards which catapult you to a wonderful life ahead, which catapult you towards success. So, the first thing that I would urge all my dear friends out there, all my students, all the young kids who would be appearing in the exams, the first thing I would urge you to do is don't don't take it as a burden. It's not a burden, it's not a hurdle. Treat it as something to be happy about, treat it as something to rejoice, and you'll find there's a whole lot of difference in the way you feel about the exams. Then there's a whole lot of difference in the experience you have during these days, during these few days, where you'd be preparing and waiting for that D-Day to come. So you have prepared throughout the year. You have made lots of preparation. You have studied at home. You have gone to school. During COVID, you have faced a lot of difficulty. But despite this difficulty, you have been through your studies. You have perhaps attended some special classes. You have been mentored by your parents and your teachers. And this entire year, perhaps more than that, you have prepared a lot for your exams. Now it's time to have faith. It's time to trust yourself. It's time to trust your abilities. It's time to trust your own performance. It's time to trust the guidance which have been given to you. So it's not the time to worry. It's a time to be confident about it. It's a time to have faith and the time to have trust. Look, what happens many a times when we enter into the examination. Okay, many a times we that we have forgotten a number of things. Perhaps we do not remember the answers to the questions which might come in the question paper. Perhaps we do not remember the concept. But the thing is, because you have put a lot of hard work into it, you do remember it. Many a times we ourselves are not aware of the abilities which we have developed in this last 1 year and over the years, over the period of our schooling. Many a times we are not aware what lies inside us. There's so much of potential, there's so much of strength, there's so much of ability within us. We ourselves are many a times not aware. So try to realize the strength within you. Try to look at what kind of abilities you have, what kind of powers you have within you, and that will make you confident. Believe me, you know much more than you actually realize you know. I repeat this what I said. You actually know much, much more than what you think you know. And if you go into the examination hall confidently, you'll find that you'll be able to all those things you know, they are overflowing through your pen onto your answer sheet. I'll show you a small clip, a small a snippet, let us call it a small 5 to 6 minutes movie, which shows you a wonderful story of a young boy who went to learn something, and at the end of his program, at the end of his course, he was unsure whether he had actually learned it or not. He thought that he had wasted his complete year. But the amazing thing is, you'll be watching what happens next. I would request Marine ma'am to kindly play the video.
Hello there. My name is Girish Karnad. Let me tell you a story. Many centuries ago, in a far eastern land, a young boy called Lobsang. He wanted to learn Kung Fu.
Lindsay, sáng nay你公布做的线索啊？
我让把那个两点老人也不讲，我帮他下去。
太假了，是这个。
So one day, they set off. His father took him to the most revered martial arts master of the time, who was a monk in a nearby monastery. The monk accepted Lobsang as his disciple. As soon as the father took his leave, The monk initiated the boy into the discipline and asked him to fetch a bucket of water. When the boy put the bucket in front of the monk, he was instructed to slap all the water out of it. As soon as he had finished, the monk asked him to bring another bucket of water. And the boy, who had been brought up to respect his elders, did so without question. He slapped all the water out of it when he was asked to bring another bucket of water and repeat the entire process. This went on day after day, week after week, month after month, without a break for more than a year. Finally, the boy had had enough. So he asked his teacher's permission to go home for a few days. The monk agreed, and the boy set off on his journey home. News reached the village that he was coming back. People waited expectantly for the young hero's return. They wanted to see for themselves what he had learnt in a year. But Lobsang was most apprehensive. He was convinced he had learnt nothing. When he finally reached his village, he rushed to his parents' home. But his friends followed him, crowding around him. All of them gathered around him at the big family dining table and continued to pester him. Show us Kung Fu. Show us Kung Fu. Unable to bear the shame of it any longer, young Lobsang got up and cried out in frustration, I know no Kung Fu. Our young disciple was shocked. Unknown to him, he had become strong and learned Kung Fu through sheer persistence by repeating the same tiring process over and over again. This story illustrates that the ability to commit yourself to a game plan and be consistent in that commitment, no matter what the odds, can yield results on an unimaginable scale.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So another thing that this story, besides what the anchor told there, another thing that this story tells us is what I was telling you. We may not be aware that through sheer practice, through sheer determination and persistence, we have perhaps learned so many things we ourselves do not know. And therefore, before you step into the examination room, sit quietly, relax, and instead of having even an iota of doubt, be confident that you will be able to do. No matter what type of question there is, you will be able to do because you have practiced throughout, because you have been guided well by your mentors, by your teachers, and by your parents. So, it's a time to be confident about. Then the question is, the next thing that comes to the mind is, but to be so confident, what should I do? You cannot be just confident without doing anything. So, what all should you review about yourself? What all should you review about your preparation so that you are confident, so that you are not stressed out, so that you are not anxious about what is coming your way? And the answer is simple. The first thing that one should do is to prepare. And I'm sure all of you would have prepared throughout these months, throughout these years. You have also appeared in your pre-board examination. You've also appeared in certain kind of tests or exams or internal assessment that have been conducted by your school. So you're already prepared. That phase you have already, up to a certain extent, you have already gone through it, the preparation phase. The next thing that is required is whatever you have prepared, you need to revise it. Still, you have a few days to go for your exam. I guess around 15 to 20 days are perhaps there with you. So it's sufficient time for you to revise. Most of you would have revised a lot of the topics that are there in your syllabus. Those who have not yet completed the revision, it's a good time to complete the revision. And those who have completed the revision, it's a good time to repeat it. So the key to the success and key to be confident in the board exams is to prepare, revise, repeat, and then relax. I repeat again what I said. You have prepared, you revise it. You revise the things thoroughly. Even if you have revised it, you repeat it once again, even if you feel that you know the things very, very well. This is the time where you can further brush upon the topics, where you can further strengthen, fortify whatever you have already learned. So revise and repeat, and then relax. Take some time off from your studies also. One more thing I would like to point out here is there may be a few topics, maybe a couple of topics with somebody, or maybe a few topics somewhere, which you have not yet studied. So don't leave it for the last day before the examination. If you feel that you have not covered it and you have 15 to 20 days with you can do it right now. But after a few days, let us say after a couple of days, when you are left with just 10 days before the examination, don't try to touch upon anything new. Whatever you have done till now, you strengthen that, you develop your abilities on that. If there is something left which you have not touched upon at all, don't bother that much about it, right? So when you have time in your hands, you prepare during that time, and after that it's time only for revision, relaxation, and having faith. I have seen some very good students, people who have performed very well. I found that during examinations, they were busy in the playgrounds. Why? Because they deliberately did it. They thought that they have prepared throughout the year. Now, if they start to prepare, now if they sit throughout the day and keep on preparing, it will be stressful for them. So they deliberately did it to reduce the stress which they were already, which they might be facing. And so it's a kind of strategy which all good performers use, that immediately before the examination, do something which you like. Relax, watch something, watch a cartoon if you like it, an animation, watch a small movie if you feel like, Yes, but don't let that movie encroach upon the time of your study. You should definitely have some time for study even before your examinations. So keep a time during which you will be deliberately able to relax. Maybe you'll be able to listen to a song. Maybe you'll go for a walk. Maybe you'll go for some kind of exercise. So these are the things which keep our mind free, relaxed, free from all kind of tensions. So before the exams, you should be able to keep your mind free from worries, and what things you should be doing to keep your mind free from worries, and what things you should be doing, the things which you are interested in. Maybe some of your hobby, maybe something you like, maybe some video game, maybe some music. So you should have some time for them, so that life, you feel like it's a normal life you are living. You should not feel that it's a different kind of life you have started living. The moment you feel that life has become different, it has there's no enjoyment in life. The regular things that we used to do, those things are missing in your life. That will create a stress in your mind. Now, the next thing that you should do is identify what is causing the stress. Look, stress is something which is very, very natural, which is very natural to all human beings, and I would say it is natural to animals also, because this is how nature has prepared us, that whenever there is a threat, whenever there is an unnatural situation, our body and our mind gets prepared to face it. And how does the body and mind get prepared to face it? There's an adrenaline rush whenever there is a threat there. The adrenaline flows into our blood, and that adrenaline gears us up to face the difficult situation. So it's also known as the fight or flight hormone. Your body becomes prepared, it becomes alert, it becomes aware of all the threats, so that you can handle the threat effectively. And naturally, whenever we find a kind of situation which we have not been regularly facing, our mind thinks of it as some kind of threat, and we come into fight or flight mode. And this is what creates a sort of tension. But at that point of time, you should deliberately explain to yourself that examination is not a threat. If you think of examination as a threat, you'll be under stress. So it's for you to explain, it's for you to counsel yourself that examination is not a threat. Examination is an opportunity to move to the next level. And anything that causes stress, anything which you, there are different things which might be causing stress to you. There may be different things which might be creating a pressure on you. What are these different things? You identify those different things, and you try to remove those things from you, from your surrounding. Identify what those things are which are creating stress in you. So some of the things which usually in this situation they create some sort of stress is, first thing is self expectation. It's good to expect things from you, but this is not the time to think about the expectation too much. This is actually the time to prepare and relax. I'm again and again repeating, prepare and relax, because this is not the time to overthink on what you should achieve. It's not the time to overthink on what the result should be. Result is not in your hand, but performance is in your hand. And if performance, you deliver whatever is expected from you, if you perform well, result is bound to be very good, result is bound to be wonderful. So result is not directly in your hand, but performance is in your hand right now. And what are the things which you should not do at this point of time? First of all, do not think too much about what result you are going to achieve. On the contrary, think how you will be prepared. Prepare a strategy, have a process which you will be using. The process should include a routine in which there is a fixed time for your studies, fixed time for your lunch, good amount of sleep. You should not be missing out on sleep, because the more you miss out on sleep, the more anxiety it causes. There's a disturbance, there's a hormonal disturbance in your body, and that causes a lot of anxiety. So don't miss out on sleep. Sleep properly, rest properly. The first thing I was telling you, at this point of time, don't ponder too much upon what you expect from yourself. The second thing is expectation of your parents. You might be worried because your parents are expecting you to perform very well, and you do not know whether you'll be able to come up to their expectation or not. So if that is the thing, if that is what is worrying you, speak to your parents, because parents are there to help you, and they'll surely understand you. They do not want you to be in trouble. They want that you should have a good future, a wonderful future. So if your parents expectation is bothering you, you speak to your parents that do not pressurize me at this moment on what I need to achieve. Rather, help me in my preparation. And I would, at this point, I would appeal to the parents also. Don't burden your children too much with your expectation at this moment. Let them live in an environment which is amicable to them, which is conducive for preparation. The next thing that you should not do is you should not compare your preparation again and again with your friends. Because look, your friends are also going through the same thing. And at this point of time, I would like to say that examination is not a war. You're not going to the war where you would be defeating somebody, where you have planned to defeat somebody, where you have planned to kill somebody. No, it's not a war. It's not a war. It's not a battle with any of your friends, with any of your classmates. So don't compare their preparation with that of yours. Don't text them how much you have prepared. Don't allow them to send you WhatsApp that asking you whether you have prepared a particular topic or not. Don't engage in these kind of conversations at this point of time. Had it been 2 months ago, it would have been beneficial. But at this point of time, this is bound to create some stress for you. So remember, examination is not a war, it's not a battle. In war and battle, we are fighting against others. But here we are not fighting against others. We are not competing against others. We are trying to improve our own performance. Let us say in your pre-board you scored 88%. You will be trying to improve that performance. You will be trying to score perhaps a little more than 90. And if you are able to do that, it's an achievement. Even after the results are out, you feel that you have scored 90%, and that boy in your class who was your competitor, who you felt have would have should be scoring little less than you find out he has scored more than you. Don't be disappointed, because look at yourself. Earlier you scored 88%, now you have scored 90%. This is an achievement. Even if your friend has scored 92% or 95%, it's an achievement for him. But for you also, it's an achievement because you have improved upon your performance. What you were doing earlier, you have improved upon that. And remember, examination is not the be all and end all of life. This is just a phase. There are many people who did not perform very good in their board examinations, who did not do very good in their school examinations. But once they were out of it, they were successful. They enjoyed their success with flying colors. There are highly successful people, many successful people out there in the world. The real world is different. It's not only about school examination. So school examination is just a phase. You should be performing good in that. But due to any reason, if you are unable to perform that well, in that case, you need not worry. Because today there are so many opportunities around us. Today there are so many openings around us. If you have learned the things well, marks at the end do not actually matter. What matters is the skills which you have developed. What matters is the ability that you have developed. And people at a certain point of time stop judging you by your marks. They judge you by your ability. They judge you by your confidence. They judge you by your performance. So, scoring good definitely is desirable. But If due to any reason you find that your score is not up to the expectation, you should not be disheartened, because there are a lot more things to be explored and achieved. And I repeat again what I said: examination is not the be all and end all of life. I request ma'am to share the PPT with the students, please. Look, the picture shows a girl who would have perhaps prepared and who would have revised also. But at a certain point of time, just before the examination, this is the condition which she feels. She feels drained out. She feels tired. This is not uncommon. This is what happens with everybody. And this is what is to be avoided, because at the night before your examination, if you feel this way, on the day of the examination, it would be difficult for you to pull yourself out through the examination. Try to make strategies so that you don't feel this way. Ma'am, next slide, please. A survey was done. This survey was done in UK. It's not done in India. This survey, it showed that what happens before the examinations. Are all the people stressed out during examination? Do all people feel anxious during examination? And surprisingly, it found that even those students who perform very, very well in the examination, those students who appear to be stress-free, even those students are anxious about their performance in the examination. And a big chunk of the students, they feel anxious because there's a sort of pressure from the family, pressure from their parents, and they would have perhaps felt better if these very people whom they perceive to be creating pressure, if they stood as their support system. So when you go through this study, you realize that this feeling anxious and feeling stressed out is not only something which is happening to the students in our country, but students from across the world feel this way. So one thing is clear, that this is not an uncommon situation. You're not in a situation which is a unique situation for you. Everybody goes through this situation. Now, when everybody goes through this situation and everybody comes out of the situation, the good news is that there surely must be a way to cope with it. Because there are so many people who, despite having felt anxious, who, despite being stressed, performed well and came out of this situation. So if they could, you also can. That's the good thing in this. Next slide, please, ma'am. It's normal. As I was telling you, it's normal. The only thing is, you'll have to find that it should not overburden you. Some degree of stress is good also. You know why? Because if we are slightly stressed, we will be having our goals in mind and we will be preparing for those. If we are not at all stressed, in that case, we will be complacent. We will not work to achieve what needs to be achieved. So some degree of stress is desirable, and this kind of stress is known as eustress. As I was telling you earlier, some degree of stress is a natural mechanism of the body, which prepares the body to face any kind of new situation. So it's good. But the harmful effect starts the moment it is overdone, the moment it extends beyond the desirable limit. So that is what is to be avoided. And how you can avoid? You can avoid it if you take the things in your control. Next slide, ma'am, please. If you take the things in your control, what are the things that you should take in control? The first thing is prepare your mindset for the examination. Prepare yourself that on a certain date you'll be having an exam, and it's something like all other regular examinations you have faced in your school time. That way, when you are mentally prepared, it will not come as a shock to you. The second thing that you should take in control is, these things I've already talked about, your expectation. Don't think about your expectation too much. At this point, think about your preparation and think how you should feel free, how you should feel relaxed. The third thing is, don't allow your friends, don't allow your, don't let them boggle you. Don't let them confuse you by asking what you have prepared and what you have not prepared. The fourth thing is, don't enter into competition mode right now, just before the examination. When you are preparing, you had that in mind perhaps, but at this point of time, don't think of competition. And fourth thing is, don't think of the outcome too much at this point of time. So if you take these things in control, along with, you ask your parents and your friends to act as your support system. They are all your good wishes and well wishers. They will surely be with you when you explain to them that you are going through a difficult phase in life. So instead of them being a pressure system, you'll soon find that they have become a support system. Convert your pressure system into your support system. Speak to your parents. Open your heart to your parents. Seek the help of your brothers and sisters and of your cousins. Perhaps those who have appeared in their board examination a couple of years ago. Speak to them. If you have any doubt, you speak to those people, who may be people in your neighborhood or in your family, who you realize that they are knowledgeable people and they are very, very supportive also. So take some help if at all it is required. Ma'am, next slide, please. As I was telling you, you are not alone in this journey. There are so many other people to support you, and you are not alone in this situation. Many people are going through this situation. Now, when so many people are going through the situation and so many people come successfully out of it, definitely this situation is not such a bad situation. So don't worry about it. Eat properly during the examinations. Don't starve out of anxiety. Eat properly. Your nutrition should be good for your brain to work properly. A healthy brain remains in a healthy body. So you should keep yourself healthy. You should keep yourself fit. And for that fitness, you should do three things together. One is, you should eat properly and on time. Second is, you should be exercising, not very rigorous exercise, but some simple exercises you should be doing every day. Perhaps you should be going on a walk, and you should have enough of your sleep. Don't compromise on your sleep. So these are the things which will surely help you to overcome the difficult situation which you might be going through right now. Then one or two more things which you should focus upon is time management, managing your time and being in discipline. Prepare a routine, prepare a timetable, and stick to that timetable. Don't set too much lofty goals. Your goal should not be lofty. Your goal should be realistic. By realistic goals, I mean, don't imagine that in one day you will be revising the entire subject. You break down your revision into parts. Don't imagine that if you have not done something in 1 hour, you will cram it up, you'll mug it up, you'll learn it. Don't do that. Set realistic goals. So, and set small goals. After you have achieved those goals, let us say you may decide a goal that in 20 minutes you will do a small exercise which is about a revision of a particular chapter. And if you're able to complete that revision in 20 minutes, give some gift to yourself. You'll feel good about it. You'll feel that you have achieved something. You'll feel that you are on track. So reward yourself. Reward yourself with maybe chocolate, maybe with a soft drink, maybe with 15 minutes of relaxation or music. So this will help you feel better. This will help you cope with the situation. And finally, what are the things you should not be afraid of? You should not be afraid of the challenges which are coming your way. You should not be afraid of your examination, because you know what, even if you know everything and you are afraid of the examination, this fear will block your mind. You will find that your cognitive abilities have come down, your ability to think has come down. So don't let fear overpower you. Overcome the fear and that will help you. Tell yourself again and again, I know everything. You had seen in the movie Three Idiots, all is well. Now tell yourself all is well. If you convince yourself all is well, if by speaking to yourself you convince yourself all is well, at a certain point of time, your mind will also start believing that all is actually well. You are very well prepared. And once your mind starts thinking that you are very well prepared, you will be able to fight against these negative emotions which come your way. And if at any point of time you're feeling that you're forgetting something, you're forgetting everything that you have learned, try to come out of that. You try to forget about thinking that. For some time, you take a deliberate decision that I'll not think about the subject. This I'm telling you just before entering into the examination hall. Before entering into the examination hall, those few minutes are very crucial. Why? Because those few minutes, if you try to revise in your mind whatever you have learned, there'll be a sort of anxiety. You'll feel that there are a number of things you do not remember. You do not try to revise at that point of time. Before going to the examination, keep your books aside. Forget whatever you have prepared. Don't think of whatever you have prepared. Don't think of the examination paper. Keep calm and be very, very normal. I think these are some of the things which are going to help you. If you do it, you are your biggest help. If you're going to do these things, these small things, if you're going to perform, you'll find that examination has come in a wonderful way. And ma'am, the next slide, it shows that uh, examination has come in a wonderful way and you have been able to deal it properly in a smart way. What exactly is meant by smart? You were very specific. You, while you were revising, you had a particular time period for your revision, and in that time period you decided what specific things you would be preparing. You were measurable. You did your preparation in a measurable way. That means, uh, by specific I mean that you will be choosing certain topics every day, and you will be making it a point that these topics should be so well prepared that anybody, when they ask questions from these points, you'll be able to answer. By measurable I mean that when you broke your period, when you broke your time into small slots, at the end of each slot you should be able to measure your success. So if it's a 20-minute slot, you should be able to look back and find out, okay, in 20 minutes I have covered one exercise or two exercise. And if you have been able to do that because you already set a goal for yourself, you reward yourself with that. So action means whatever you have performed, you reward yourself for that. Have fun. And the goal should not be realistic, unrealistic. It should be realistic goal. Don't set too high a goal for yourself. And time matters. Study requires time, so set sufficient time depending on your requirement, but at the same time also set sufficient time to unwind from your preparation. Time has to be managed for both the things, for your preparation and for your mental well-being, which can come when you unwind from your preparation, when you give some time off from the preparation and engage in something which is enjoyable for you. And soon you will find that you have sailed through the examination. Next slide, please, ma'am. You've sailed through the examination and the examinations are over, and the day will come when you will be rejoicing, when you will be successful, when you will be celebrating your success with flying colors. So, with this, I wish all the best to all the students out there, to all the brilliant minds who are preparing for their examination. I wish you all the best and heartiest congratulations to you that you have arrived at this point, which is going to act as a catapult for your career. The board examinations, they will be catapult for your future journey. Any questions, ma'am, people might be having?
One student asked that did you face any real time situation where you faced failure and how did you overcome with that?
Okay. Uh, Ma'am, let me narrate the incident of my board examination, the 10th board examination. Um, as I said, everybody is a bit stressed during these period, and some of the things which I was telling you, I was telling from my own experience. I remember it was 1st of March, way back when my first board examination was there, and it was English language examination. I used to score very good in English language and literature, both the things. So English, during English language examination, I had always treated language as something very very simple. I never really was bothered about English language examination. Never ever was bothered about English language examination. I used to do it very well. But just before the examination, something happened. Maybe I was discussing with my friends and all, and I don't know where this fear crept in. Because of this fear, when I sat in the examination, the first question was about writing an essay on a particular situation. I was so afraid. I was so overwhelmed with fear that I could not think of any good instance which I can narrate in the essay, and I did not write the essay very well. I That was a setback for me in a subject which I was very good at. I could not perform so very well in the first paper. But at that point of time, I counseled myself after the examination. I counseled myself that I should not think about that. Something I have not done well, which I could do very well, but I did not do well. Otherwise, I would have been very upset. So I made a deliberate decision at that point of time that I'll not think about it, because they'll hamper the remaining examinations. And in the remaining examinations, I'll go with this confidence that I'll be able to do very well. I spoke to my parents also. My parents also, I was a bit afraid what they would be telling me, but they were very supportive. They told me, never mind, you do the other examinations very well. And that calmed down my nerve. I was able to go through the remaining examinations very well. I never faced that kind of situation ever again in any kind of examination. That was the first time I faced that kind of situation, and perhaps that was the last time. So that taught me that examination, the more I'm afraid of an examination, the more it will be crushing me down. So it's all there in the thought process.
Thank you so much, sir. And one more question I want to ask that, while writing exam, we get all blank and
Right,
we go into another word. So, how do we
right.
increase our concentration power?
Ma'am, there's a very universally accepted method. Meditation helps. Meditation does not mean, it's nothing about religion. It's about calming down your mind. Meditation means or when you are there in the examination hall, you get some minutes before the paper is distributed. You sit quietly, you close your eyes, and you think of nothing in particular. That will relax you. Before you get the paper, you take 2 to 3 deep breaths and sit quietly. That will help you relax, and you'll be good to go in the examination.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So, before
Thank
we
you.
sign off for today, I would like to extend my thanks to sir for covering such an important topic, and thank you all of you for joining. So, I wish you all the best for your upcoming exams.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and wish you all the best, everybody. I'm sure you'll be doing very well in your examinations. All the best to you.
Thank you.